Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. Buckle up, as it's a long one, and of course, listen to the end of the story to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Partner A, entitled Friend, EF. EF's parents, EFP. Parents, P. My partner A, 28 male, and I, 25 female, were scheduled to marry this year. A and I and my family would be paying for it. Months before the wedding, A got injured. We put a hold on the ceremony. The date we had picked was also of importance to us. Several vendors couldn't refund us, such as the decor, food, and the location. A and I were leaning towards having a small party instead on the same day. My friend EF, 27 female, was also engaged. After A and I canceled our own wedding, I'd been talking to her and telling her about it. She said it would be funny if I had my wedding there on that day instead. I firmly said no, as that day was a significant day for me, and I would be planning something else for that day. EP then led her parents, EFP, to believe that I offered her the venue, food, and decor. It was only when they visited my family to give them the wedding invites that my parents, P, learnt of this. P were in the loop about my own plans with the location. However, EF started crying, asking her godparents, P, to agree. P did not confirm till they had spoken to me. EFP, EF, and P wanted to convince me, but I said no. EF and EFP started accusing P of having raised their hopes and going back on their words. Under coercion, A and I felt obligated to say yes. My friend invited me to her wedding as a bridesmaid. I declined to attend. I told EF that P were free to attend. This resulted in a breakdown on her end, and all her friends and family calling me to yell at me. She threatened to cancel the wedding if I was not present. A asked me to reconsider. I agreed to attend. I did let EF know that I would be attending. On the day of the wedding, I contacted a mutual to ask the color of the bride and the bridal party's outfits to not clash with them. However, EFP pulled me aside to demand that I had to go change as EF wore something similar. I made it clear that if I left, I would not be making it back. The argument grew from there, and I walked out. I broke down and cried in the parking lot. I was surrounded by some of our mutual friends. I was not aware of the fact that EF's boss was just around the corner and overheard me crying and was upset at EF's behavior. Other guests nearby were starting to crowd, but I was too distressed to see anyone else. After we left, this spread like wildfire at the wedding, with several guests either scolding EFP and EF and many others walking out. P scolded me for acting the way I did and for ruining EF's marriage, as well as angry messages, social media posts, and angry voicemails from many of her EFP and EF's family and friends, calling me a spoilt brat and attention W. Even EFPs have been telling people that they paid for the whole wedding and that I'm just throwing a tantrum to gain attention. I confirmed with P they did not pay. However, with everyone around me calling me the a-hole, am I the a-hole? Update. I know it's only been a few hours, but I do have an update. I did manage to get in touch with the vendor providing all three services, and turns out, EF led them to believe that the wedding was no longer going to take place due to a disagreement between mine and A's families, so had asked her to postpone her wedding to replace mine, and that we were going through a lot, so she would be the new point of contact from that point onwards. We also had a mutual family friend step in and speak to them in a manner as if they had not heard from us yet. Turns out, the EFP was made to believe that they had paid for the wedding by EF, who collected a lump sum of money from her parents. It was only later that she came clean to them about it, and so instead of confessing their error, they decided to double down and enforce it further. We finally also sent out a long message to EF and EFP to warn them of their behavior, and that we would be speaking to everyone we knew about it. They are yet to respond, but many friends and family have reached out to check on us and console us, as this all happened literally a day back. They've been kind and have been sharing other cases of backstabbing by this family that my family was not aware of. They have also been hearing our side of the story and strongly defending us. In my opinion, OP is a little bit in the wrong here for kind of agreeing to the whole mess. Giving her the venue, food, and decor? Did they even reimburse OP for that? I can only imagine how horrible the pressure was that they put on OP. And OP's fiance pressured OP too? What a mess, and I don't blame OP for breaking down at the end. I hope the truth comes out and that everyone finds out how toxic OP's friends and her family have been to OP. If I was OP, I would block them all. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Maggette says, not the a-hole. Let me get this straight. Your friend threatened to cancel her wedding if you didn't attend? And instead of laughing at her idiocy, you actually agreed to attend? Why? You could have just told her to go ahead and cancel the wedding. New Here Anon says, not the a-hole. Of course not. But I would say that you are somewhat of an a-hole towards yourself for letting your friend walk all over you like that. EF asking to use the venue should have been a no and stayed a no. And they got it for free as well? Girl, never allow this kind of disrespect again. You also need to get a U-Haul, pack all EFPs, all mutual friends, and throw them all away. Light Rain Peaches says, not the a-hole. And because I am a very spiteful petty Betty at times, I would be straight up telling everyone the truth of what happened. When they say you ruined her wedding, I'd respond with, you mean my wedding that my family paid for, that EF stole from me? That they haven't offered a cent towards reimbursing us for? That ruined my wedding plans? That wedding? Update 2. Isha, EF, and her husband have left for a honeymoon in Paris. Yes, in the middle of the virus. The honeymoon is being paid for by the money she collected from her parents in the name of paying us back. Her parents and mine met again yesterday after all this unraveled within the far extended community, and they were shamed to get in touch with us as soon as possible. Her parents were duped by their own child into paying a large amount of money, which she decided to use to take a vacation, as otherwise her partner and she could not afford to be paying for it themselves. Her family is apologetic, but we have made it clear that we would like to see the money returned, even if in small installments by next year when my partner and I have decided to tie the knot. We will also no longer remain in touch with the family, and they agree it might be for the best. Isha's in-laws have also heard of it, and have also cut off Isha and her family till we are paid in full. We will go ahead and get legally married, but we'll wait for a civil marriage till we move in together. Isha is currently in deep water with her family, who have decided to cut her off and cancel all access to them financially. Her family is rather well off, but she herself is not the most stable. However, as in most South Asian cultures, kids tend to live with their families for a majority of their lives, if not all their lives. Isha's mother has also since apologized for how she acted about the outfit change. Isha had instructed her to ask me to go change, as she was not happy about my presence, as she felt I would be taking the limelight away from her, with my, in her own words, hobbling fiancé and I becoming the center of attention, as people would flock to sympathize with us or congratulate us, instead of focusing on her. Like, damn, at least she could have waited till I had some of the amazing wedding food. The reason they have so much power over us is that our families have been friends for generations. Isha's grandfather helped pay for my grandfather's housing while our family was nearly rendered homeless, and they also took my father in when times were tough, so as to ensure he got the best of the care and his education and schooling were not hampered. As is also very common in South Asian communities, loved ones often gather together as financial support during major life events, so they did. They stepped in and helped pay for my mother's medical expenses when I was born, due to the absolute trauma my birth was on her and the medical nightmare it turned into. There were so many other instances of her family swooping in to help us, including this year when I lost a grandparent, and they supported us through the sheer emotional drain it was on us. We cannot just brush past these instances and jump to cutting people off. Till now. While I will always be very grateful for Grandpa and Grandma on Isha's end, I cannot extend the same for her. I felt like an a-hole. I really did at the time I started writing this. I was emotionally exhausted. I had everyone around me scold me for a very public outburst. South Asians and emotions don't go hand in hand, unless in our beloved over-the-top movies. Isha was also nearly fired, which added to the hate I was getting from those around me. Isha also apparently cried during the ceremony when she heard about it, and the tears of a bride always pull at heartstrings. I was being told I could have done the decent thing and agreed to be a bridesmaid as I am her closest friend. I was being told I should not have had a very public breakdown. I was told that my family could have been gracious in giving them the wedding and then sorted it amongst ourselves later in private, rather than creating an unsightly scene. My dad lost my mom, former Marine, and my two siblings in a car crash where only he survived. He's recently married, and I now have 5 older stepbros. We don't always see eye to eye. Every year on my grandpa and grandma's birthday and Veterans Day, we make a drive to Golden Gate Cemetery, which we refer to as Golden Gate, And then we stop by my mom and siblings' graves since they're close by, and vice versa on their birthdays. We usually end up both being complete messes at the end, and it takes us the full day or sometimes 2 days to collect ourselves. Well, I was talking about going to Golden Gate this year since we couldn't last year, and I think I was overheard, and it comes time for the dreaded but also needed day that we go. But then I see my stepmom standing there with a picnic basket, having a heated discussion with my dad and the stepbros looking pissed on the side. Me, thoroughly confused, try to ask what's going on, and all angry looks get directed at me. And stepmom says, "Well, she's here now, so you guys can go on your little outing alone and take the picnic I made for us all to enjoy there together, by yourselves, while my sons and I enjoy some bonding time of our own." Admittedly, I see red, and I don't control my mouth and yell, "You made a ducking picnic to have at the graves of our family? The duck is wrong with you. How could you possibly think that's appropriate? This is hard enough, and you do that?" And I go on for a good 10 minutes. By the end, stepfam is looking white and shocked, and my dad quietly says, "I was trying to tell you, it's not the damn bridge." Stepmom starts bawling. Stepbros start losing it on me, and my dad says maybe another time, he needs to be here. So I leave and go on my own and was forced to call a friend to come pick me up because by the end of visiting my mom, I couldn't really stand without help. I've been at my friend's for about a week now, just crying, trying to pull myself together, which usually my dad helped with. But I've been getting non-stop calls from fam saying I'm an a-hole, and my mom and such would be disappointed in my behavior towards my new fam, which has been making it harder. Dad has tried calling me multiple times, but I don't know if I can face him. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add background info. My stepmom is not Mexican, she's Japanese, and I have no idea if having a picnic is a way to honor those who have passed. I lost my mom and siblings on my 13th birthday when they were picking up a surprise gift for me with my dad. I was at my grandparents' house during this, and my dad was unable to get out of the car or help them in any way. I did not tell my dad I was going to the graves alone. I think he assumed I wouldn't, because I've never had the strength or will to do so before. But I felt like I had to this time. It is not my stepmom and stepbrothers calling me. It's primarily aunts, uncles, cousins, and my stepfam's extended and step-grandparents. Stepmom and stepbrothers have not tried calling once. I'm getting an overwhelming flood of go to therapy, so I'll try. I think this may have been the wake-up call I needed to realize I do need help. I'll try to call my dad so he knows what the extended is saying, as well as where I am and that I'm willing to finally get help. Thank you all for your feedback. You've helped me open my eyes. Edited to add again. I was about to call my dad when my friend stopped me saying, "He's not done cleaning house." And I asked what they meant, and they responded that I left my phone open, and they saw the messages sent to me and forwarded them to my dad, asking if this is the family dynamic he wants for me, and he's apparently been doing pretty much a mass exodus of those trying to come after me, because he only contacted 2 family members to see if they knew where I was, and is now releasing hell, and it's true rage down upon the family. So yeah, I'm gonna wait at least another day before trying to call him. But I do plan on having a very long talk with stepfam and my dad about the intentions behind all this, and see if there's more that I just don't know. Edited to add. So called my dad, apologized, and turned out it was a misunderstanding. But then I got a bombshell dropped on me I'm still trying to process. So my stepbros, apostrophes to be explained, are 30 male, 28 male, 25 male, 25 male, and 23 male, older than me by 4 months. And my stepmom just revealed that the youngest stepbro is actually my half-brother, and she wants me to show him where his half-siblings are buried if I'm up to it. I'm still processing it, and not sure how I feel, and kinda went quiet and just hung up. It's just a lot to process, and I've got an appointment with a therapist already set up, so this might be a conversation to have with them. Which is Hour 130 says, "Not the a-hole. If you aren't in already, I'd start looking for therapy and get your dad in too, for both joint sessions and private. You need to get some alone time regularly from the stepfamily, a friend's house or a full-time job, something to help ground the crazy." Chasing Jenny says, "Not the a-hole. I was gonna go with no a-holes originally, as stepmom didn't know what the trip was actually for. But then a few things bothered me. 1. That stepmom was so annoyed you would be spending time with just your dad. It's a new blended family, and you don't even live with them. You're entitled to a little time, just the 2 of you. 2. Your dad was obviously trying to explain the trip was about more than the bridge. But stepmother was on such a high horse about the family bonding. He never got a chance to explain properly. 3. Think it's a bit wrong that your dad left you to make that trip on your own to soothe stepmother's feelings when you obviously need the support. 4. The fact that even though they know what the journey was for, because you lost it with stepmother, your phone is blowing up with people calling you an a-hole. What the duck? You lost your entire family, sans dad, at a tough age around your birthday. Although reaction to stepmother may have been a little over the top since she didn't know what was going on, they could have at least cut you a break. Worst of all is saying your deceased family would be ashamed. That made my blood boil.